Hi, I'm Nick Bellantoni. I'm the Emeritus Connecticut State Archaeologist up at the University of Connecticut with the Connecticut State Museum of Natural History. We were very excited to be in Ridgefield this winter when we got called by the medical examiner's office because some skeletal remains were discovered under one of the older historic homes in Ridgefield. And in that investigation, it turns out that the remains were not part of a modern criminal investigation, but were actually historic burials that went back more than 100 years. And so as a result, the state medical examiner turned the investigation over to me. And then working with the property owner, well, we worked in their basement and actually did some radar, ground penetrating radar around the properties. And what we uncovered were four adult men, the skeletal remains of such, lying in a common grave and kind of thrown in somewhat orderly, but haphazardly also. They were kind of very quickly buried, and you could tell that from some of the stratigraphy we had. It was a rather shallow grave even at that time. So we were involved in this amazing recovery. And of course, with all of the research done by the Ridgefield Historical Society and others in town, we came to realize very quickly that these may very well be victims of the Battle of Ridgefield that occurred in April of 1777. And that kind of heightened the interest all around, not only in the town, but actually nationally and internationally. This discoveries really made a lot of newsworthy print. People were all over were very interested in what we were finding. And so we recovered not only the skeletal remains of these men, but we also recovered almost 40 buttons that two of the individuals were wearing. Two individuals had no buttons, two had buttons. And those buttons become very important for us as we try to analyze whether these are American militia, farmers coming off the fields to help in the Battle of Ridgefield, to defend the town, with the British coming from Danbury down, trying to pass through Ridgefield, or whether these were British soldiers. So those buttons are being cleaned right now. They're being worked in the laboratories. They were very corroded when we removed them. Clean them up to see if we could see any regimental insignia or anything like that may come about. I have to tell you that because of the COVID pandemic, the laboratories at all the universities have been closed. And as a result, we don't have much of an update to give you other than to say that the remains and the buttons are all in the laboratories, but we are waiting for more work to be done on them because of everything coming to a standstill. We are working, I can tell you, with the University of Connecticut and their laboratories. And we're also working with Dr. Gary Aronson at Yale University with bioanthropology laboratories down there, coordinating the forensic work on the skeletons. And that's going to be pretty exciting because we're hoping that the bones themselves will tell us a great deal about these men, not only some of their physical characteristics, age and sex, the degree of muscularity, but also studies like DNA might help us understand better origins of, and carbon isotope analysis will help us understand the diets of the first 20 years of each of these men. And that can help us a great deal with whether they are coming from Europe or whether they are American born and bred. So the work is exciting. We're really anticipating a lot of information coming out of here that would not be normally available to us. And the forensic work is going to be very, very, very helpful in putting the battle together, not only individually as soldiers, but collectively as to what happened out there in 1777. You know, when we were working and meeting people in the town, members of the Historical Society, but neighbors and the property owner and people in the community, as well as the Ridgefield Police Department and the town office administrations. Everyone was so supportive and so interested in what we were doing that one of my thoughts were, gee whiz, there's more to learn here. If this accidental discovery yielded very important information about that battle, I said to myself, can you imagine what a town-wide battlefield survey, archaeological, historical, the kind of information it would yield would be just so amazing. Things that the thing about archaeology is, we use the historic record, but we can add to the historic record by material cultural analysis that you can't get between the pages of a book. So the potential I felt was there. And so we were very excited that the Ridgefield Historical Society was willing to put in an application with the National Park Service for one of their battlefield protection grants. These are very important grants that have allowed historians, archaeologists to work together to find archaeological remnants of that battlefield. And here in Connecticut, that grant has been used by Dr. Kevin McBride in the research he did on the Pequot War of 1636 and 1637, yielding far more information than we had in terms of documents. And of course, when we're talking about something like the Pequot War, the document writers were, of course, the British, the English at the time during the colony. And so the archaeology also helped us tell the Native American side of the story. So I thought, gee, this would be a wonderful opportunity. So, the members of the Historical Society were so enthusiastic, getting a great deal of help from our partners at the State Historic Preservation Office. Connecticut Humanities has been involved. There's just so many partners that want to come together for this project. So we were absolutely delighted to hear that the National Park Service has awarded the Ridgefield Historical Society a battlefield protection grant for the Battle of Ridgefield in 1777. The potential outcome is just going to be tremendous. And you know what? That survey will work because of you, because of the members of this Ridgefield community who will work with the archaeologists and the historians and the Historical Society to make this a successful application. I am just absolutely thrilled. Other than the burials, I don't know what my involvement will be, but we will certainly keep active with it because this is become near and dear to my heart. And certainly we will have more to tell you as we get further down the road and the laboratories open up and we can start providing more frequent updates on the forensic work, which again, coupled with the survey, this is going to be a project that will be in the public attention for at least another 2 or 3 years. And based on what we find from all of this, where that leads us is it may extend even further. So this is a long-term venture. It started with a discovery, an unexpected, kind of dramatic discovery, but it is going to be leading to one of the most fantastic historical and archaeological projects, I think, that has come out of the state of Connecticut. So we congratulate the Ridgefield Historical Society, and we congratulate all of you in the town of Ridgefield for making this possible. Best of luck.